So you've loaded up generic shooter, and now you want to add a character that's a little bit more you, and a little bit less generic. You don't like Ball Blueprint? You don't like template? That's not a problem. Let's go ahead and add in another asset. For this, I'm going to be using the Zombie Bundle Pack, which is under Characters Animations and T-Pose Zombie Bundle. Now, I'm not going to be using the crawler guy, but I'll be using this guy on the right because I own it and why not? So I'm going to add this to project. I'm going to go show all projects. I'm going to add this to a project here. And it's added to the project. Going ahead and hit yes to replace, even though it wasn't in there before. It's kind of weird how that happens, but it did. Alright, so let's stop this. And one important thing to note is that before we can use any custom characters, we have to change the skeleton to match the common skeleton that generic shooter uses. To do that, go to the Zombie 1 Meshes folder and choose the Z1 body mesh. Right click it, and it might take a few seconds to load after you right click, but just give it some time. It might take a lot of time. There we go. And then go to skeleton, assign skeleton, and in the box that pops up, you want to make sure that you choose scale common. And the bones here should list because the zombie mesh and the blue mannequin and the new 4.8 mannequin, they're all compatible with each other. So go ahead and accept, and you want to right click and you want to save your new mesh, your zombie mesh, with that new skeleton, assign it. And with that, you can now go to generic shooter, blueprint logic, engine, game instance, or your own game instance if you've already subclassed one. And just double click this and go to class defaults on the right where you see define characters. Go ahead and pop this open and pop this open some more. And you'll see two character definitions along with their display name, their meshes, and their materials. So I want to swap out Ball Blueprint with our zombie. So I want to replace Ball Blueprint with a zombie. And then I want to dock this so I can switch to a content browser easier. I'm going to go back to our content folder, our zombie 1 meshes, select our Z1 body, go ahead and just pop that into the third person mesh. And we don't have a first person mesh for this, but so I'll just leave this as is for now. And for mesh materials, I'm going to assign all the materials that this zombie uses. And I believe it just uses body inst. If we open up the zombie mesh, we can double check that. So yeah, we have two meshes here, or two material IDs, body inst and body inst. I'm not sure why it uses the same material twice, but it does. So we have to make sure that our materials in our defined character thing are set up properly. Let's go back to our content browser, find the body inst material, and just pop these in both. Go ahead, hit compile, and save. And there you go. If we hit play in our menu, you'll see that if we go to our customized character screen, whoa, I'm glitching out a little bit. Sometimes when I'm recording it lags pretty hard and the character glitches. In any case, here's our zombie character. He's loaded in just fine. You can put a hat on him. Everything works as expected. So yeah, a zombie. Now if we were to set him as a default character and then play with him in the test map, you'll see that his first person arms not only are the wrong arms, but they're also using the wrong material. So I mean, it kind of works, but not quite. I mean, it's using the wrong mesh. So in order to fix that, what we can do is we can kind of make our own first person mesh. And the easiest way to do this is to export the character here. Asset actions export. I want to just export them to a temp folder on my desktop. And then I want to open up 3ds Max. But you can use Maya, you can use Blender, you can use any program really that will edit an FBX skeletal mesh and will allow you to change it. So while this loads, yeah, we'll just chill. Alright, so it's Max is loading up now. Alright, so once we have Max open, again, you can do this in any modeling package, but I prefer Max. We'll go to desktop, going to go to our temp folder that I made, and I want to open up our zombie mesh. And I want to make sure that scale factor is set to 1 on my FBX import settings. Once this loads in, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to select our mesh, go to the editable mesh, select our polygons, and just delete his head and bits of his chest. Now I'll just do a quick and dirty job for now, but this will give us a decent enough first-person mesh to use. So once we're done with that, when you import and export a skeletal mesh into Max and try exporting it, it creates a root bone here. So if you hit H and bring up the select from C node, select the Z1 body root and hit delete. And now you can export this. I'm just going to export it back on top of the temp file I made earlier. And I'm going to open up Unreal. And one thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take that file, I'm going to rename it z1body_arms so it's a bit more noticeable what it is. And then in Unreal, you can either drag and drop it or you can right click import, go back to your temp folder, select your arm mesh. And it's very important that under skeleton, you choose your common skeleton, scale common. And we're not going to import animations for this. We're not going to import materials or textures either. We'll just hit import. And then we'll open up the arms mesh. And then we'll find the body instance material and assign that. Sorry, where did he go? We'll assign that back onto the arms skeletal mesh character. Once again, you gotta have it selected. Here we go. Now once that's assigned, we can save this out. In our game instance, go to our define characters, which is Z1 body. I'm gonna search for Z1 body arms, pop that in here. And now my first person mesh is there. And now when I play in first person, I have much better arms that are actually the zombies mesh. And if we did a good enough job deleting it, we won't see our shoulders clip. And that's pretty cool. So third person, first person, new character. Pretty sweet. Now, if you wanted to set up team coloring for team deathmatch, you're going to have to edit the zombie material a little bit. So, for example, if I have two clients here on different teams, you'll see that we look the same even though we're on different teams. So that could be a problem. So if you open up the body mat material for a zombie, for instance, and find the skin color, what you can do is you can make a parameter, a scalar parameter, convert it, there we go, call it team num. And any material that's assigned to a character that has a team num scalar will be set correctly to the team that they're on. With this team num, you can call a material function that I've provided in generic shooter called get team color. And with this get team color, you can just replace whatever you're using for color. And you'll see that it appears purple as a default to show that it is working. I want to save this out here. And with that set, now if we hit play, you'll see that my client is white and the other client is orange, or the host is orange, because we are playing on the orange and yellow teams. If we load it up as a different, or play again, you'll see that now they're orange and white again, but swapped. Let's try to get some multiple colors on there. Here we go. Now we have yellow versus purple, and you'll see that it's coloring just fine. So that's how you add another character definition, as well as add in the team color support here. So have fun.